Hey everybody, I'll give you a few minutes to come on in here, then we'll get started. My light is not very good. I'm not going to be able to see your comments very well. Let me move over here. You will just walk around, actually. It feels comfortable today with the Mercury and Venus directly conjunct. Mercury's action, after all, everyday action. Traffic, walking, transit, communication, ideas, person-to-person contact in our everyday life. So when we have this conjunction in the sky between Mercury and Venus, it's a little bit better here. When we have this conjunction in the sky between Mercury and Venus, it is a new cycle of pleasant communication. Communication that results in harmony. Being able to solve problems as a team, as a group, as the two of you, we're able to come to solutions, come to agreements that benefit all of us, that are meant to solve problems. That's what Mercury is. It's solutions, solving problems, looking at the bits and pieces of things. It's analysis. And Venus is agreements. It's harmony. It is cooperation. So this is not a conjunction in itself that lends to depth. It does this time, though, because we have this conjunction between Mercury and Venus in conjunct to Pluto on the other end. That's where we have something that, an energy mixed in that has us looking beneath the surface. Looking for what is more true. What is the real meaning of something? Reading between the lines. And then being able to come to a solution or an agreement, bring something to the surface where we can have some real practical communication and solutions that benefit us all. So it's very much like having oil come up. It'd be the plutonic part of things. And then easily being able to see, oh, okay, well, this is where this this is where this resource should go. This is the most obvious solution. This is very practical, where we can say, okay, well, this is the treasure. This is the what I've uncovered. It's a no-brainer that this is what I should do with it. So it's a very useful, what we plumb from the depths. can be very useful to us. Alrighty. Take a couple of questions here. Don't have a ton of time, but let's see. And I didn't give you a lot of notice either that I was coming in. Let's see. Hey, Ari. Oh, a Venus in Cancer. So you're going to have Venus and Mercury transiting conjunct to your own Venus. That's wonderful. It's a wonderful opportunity to start a new relationship that is based more on cooperation and a win-win. I like that. Ari, what about composite Neptune, quintile the ascendant? That's one of the more positive ways that Neptune can aspect to the ascendant. It doesn't result in an abject mutual delusion between the two of us, where we can really enhance each other's idealism. And sometimes it's an inappropriate idealism. We can bring out the worst in each other when it comes to escapism and assuming things that might be comforting, but they might not be true. We can bring that out in each other with the hard aspects. With the quintile or the easy aspects, we tend to bring out the side of Neptune in each other that's more about a sacrifice for the right reasons, mutual empathy, compassion, service. So with the quintile from Neptune, quintiles are about combining our personality or our connection, our chemistry, resulting in an enhancement of both of our personal talents, both of our sparkle. Quintiles are fabulous to have in synastry. They're not completely easy. You don't have the stagnant, it's a given, take it for granted kind of thing with the easy aspects. There is some amount of elbow grease or creativity or work that we'll have to put into something when it comes to a quintile, but it's actually fun to do. So we bring out a lot of the best in each other when it comes to how we can mix and apply our idea of selfless service to the world and spirituality. Good stuff there. Let's see. Britt, please explain opposition aspect energy in the composite chart. For example, Sun opposite Pluto is at doomed in composite. That's rough. We have to both be very, very willing to control our own self and to change our own self instead of expecting that of the other person. Oppositions do tend to be more severe, louder, more acute than squares in composite charts. Oppositions can be very positive. Clip on my microphone here. Oh, look, I'm missing my little, darn it. I'm missing the little fuzzy thing again, because that means that my Pomeranians ate it. Anytime it's gone, it's because they ate it. Now I have to order some new fuzzy things. And now I'll have that song from Annie, little girls, in my head all day. So, oppositions are where we have to balance very consciously something, some kind of extreme that we bring out in each other. And the sun opposite to Pluto, we have an extreme when it comes to resisting each other's attempts to modify us, change us, improve us. We see that as something that is directly in opposition to our identity and how we want to be validated. So with Sun or Mars oppositions to Pluto, squares to Pluto, hard aspects to Pluto, we really feel like the other person just will not get on board. You could see this too with Mars opposite to Uranus. That could be a bad one in composites. And so we have this idea that if you would just change, you get this with Sun square Pluto in composite charts too. If you would just change, if you would just get it, if you would just fucking change, then we could be happy. But we're both thinking it. We're both thinking the same thing. We're both putting the same kind of pressure on each other. And we're both denying each other the kind of validation and attention and compliments and being seen. We're denying that until the other one makes the kind of changes that they need to make in order to stop pissing the other one off. And we resist it heavily. We just pull further and further and further apart when it comes to becoming an enemy to each other over the course of time. And the mantra, if your partner isn't your friend, then they are your enemy. That is so true in these cases. So we really do feel like the other person's natural personal expression is in direct opposition from what we think they need to be in order for us to be happy. If we can't appreciate each other for what we are, and oftentimes too, this one, I'll back up, then I'll finish my thought. What attracted us to each other in the beginning becomes exactly what we try to stamp out in each other over the course of time, and what just annoys the hell out of us with the square or the opposition. And that's what we want the other person to change. If we can't love each other for what we are, we're waiting on the other person to change, be better, improve before we can be happy. We're going to be together in a miserable relationship, often for a long time. With the square and the opposition, it can keep us going at it for a long time. And you would think actually that it would run its course pretty quickly because of the amount of hatred that can build up. It's like we don't want the other person to win. We're gonna stick it out for 75 years just to win. This one will age you. These hard aspects from Sun to Pluto will age you. And the opposition of Mars to Pluto, God, that one. That's one where we see what bothers the other person. We're like, oh, I'm going to do that even harder. It bothers you when I make fun of your elephant knees? I'm going to make sure to do that 5, 6, 7 times a day. So we stick it to each other. It's like we needle each other with that particular opposition. And it just becomes more and more and more explosive over the course of time. It's really it's like we tease each other or react to each other in such a way that we make the other person explode. You like what you do to a sibling. We've all done this. Oh, come on. Or somebody, a sibling did this to you. They'll just annoy you until you go crazy. I had a brother who would just, I would be watching TV and he would just, it's funny now, but at the time I wanted to kill him. I'd be watching TV and he would just come and he would just stand in front of the TV. He would just stand there. He would just stand there. He wouldn't say anything. Nothing. He wouldn't do anything. He would just stand there. And it did become a joke. Like he would just show up and just stand there. But it was annoying. And it was meant to be annoying. So, thank God we don't have this opposition in our composite chart because it was funnier more than something that turned hateful. But there are oppositions in composite charts that can absolutely put us in a position where we are on opposite ends or we are in a direct confrontation with each other. So, the hard aspects between Sun and Mars, Uranus, Pluto, those are the ones that can show the most amount of resentment. Mars, too. Same thing with Mars. Yeah. Spicy. Super attractive, very magnetic, especially in the beginning, because I think there's the real promise of change. But, over the course of time, we tend to get on each other's nerves. Lindsay, Sun and Venus square Pluto in composite is tough. Yeah. I still think about him. By the way we relate to each other is very toxic. I know we will never work out, but I do miss him. I'll bet you do. God, I'll bet you do, Lindsay. That's a lot of attraction. That's a lot of change that will happen as a result of the other person's influence. That is an enormous amount of chemistry that you're describing, especially that square between Venus and Pluto. Oh my God, that's so magnetic. Even if you know better, it is so hard to resist the kind of passion that square promises. So it can be very hard to move on when you have those hard aspects to Pluto in composite charts, because the passion, the attraction, oftentimes the trauma bond or the emotional ups and downs, it is such a concert of feelings. It unless that's something that's common to you, it is something that it can be unlike anything else we've ever experienced. And it may not be good for us, but the recollection of the feelings, what it brought out in us, the roller coaster of everything, that can be extremely hard to move on from. And oftentimes we will still legitimately have real love, real attraction for people when we have those difficult aspects with. And even though we love them, we know that it's not good for us. And that's the mature choice, to choose our health when we know that we are putting ourselves at risk. So, good for you, Lindsay. Ari, sorry, I put a gnat. I have another quintile question. I have moon quintile, someone's Jupiter and descendant. Moon quintile, Jupiter's fine. That's good. Most of the aspects for moon to Jupiter are very positive. The harder the aspect, the more we are going to be enlivened, unjustifiably so. But there's a strong feeling of comfort and positivity anytime we have moon Jupiter aspects in synastry. Good. Mm-hmm. Okay. So this is an interesting and unusual question. Ripple drop. How do we see from a horoscope what is most lacking in our existence? You would want to look to the empty houses in your chart. And you would want to look at what kinds of needs, meaning mostly Venus and moon stuff. What kind of needs do we have, and how might those be blocked or in conflict? Alrighty. So I am going to wrap up for today. Let's see, I think I got all my member questions. Let's see. Oh, hold on, Charlotte. Mars conjunct Uranus, opposite Chiron in the 8th house, square Jupiter. What is this? So I'm thinking you mean in natal. So Mars conjunct Uranus. So Mars conjunct Uranus, very strong impulse for independence, for asserting ourselves, for freedom, liberation. You do not tell a Mars-Uranus person no. Do not do that. Use reverse psychology if you have to. But do not tell them no. They will find a way to make it happen. It could be very contrary with how we assert ourselves. Opposite to Chiron, so there's the wound when it comes to that liberated assertion. And this Mars conjunct Uranus is in a square to Jupiter, which is going to pump up the need to take action, to assert yourself. Mars, to do stuff, is a strong masculine principle with that T-square you got going on there, my dear. But we do have a wound to that, a confidence issue. Chiron in aspect to Sun and or Mars can often indicate bullying, feeling very defeated, feeling very rubbed out early in life by either the father figure or those that we saw were bullying or threat to us. So that is something that we tend to wrestle with as adults, being able to assert ourselves freely without that expectation of having some kind of consequence for that, or being made fun of or brutalized in some way. That's in the 8th house too. It's going to enhance those issues of fear. So I would look at those issues related to all of that there. But Jupiter is there to pump up the volume and to give you a sense of vision and purpose. There's a lot that you could do with that energy. That's just a powerhouse of Mars you got going on there. So when we deal with our Chiron issues, we deal with our attachment issues, we deal with our open wounds, we have to feel the pain first. It's like lancing a boil. You got to get the pus out first. A lot of times you want to skip over that. You want to skip over the healing part to the healed part. But a lot of Chiron stuff is going through the pain, going through the process, going through the crying, going through the seeping, going through the lancing of the wound and letting it seep out and ooze for a while. And things do get better, but we have to let it out. Yeah, there's a lot of anger to let out with that configuration. All right. Okay, so I think that is what I've got going on today. I might pop in with you guys tomorrow. I don't think I have a hugely busy day tomorrow. I'm going to get to be outside all day long. Exactly where I should be. All right, I'll catch up with you guys later. I will pop onto Instagram. Not now. I don't want to right now. I don't know when. I'll do it whenever I want to. Or I won't, because I'll decide I don't want to. It's a surprise. See you later, guys.